Welcome. My name is David Conley. I'm the director here at the Theatre of Arts, and we've got a big treat for you today. We're going to be talking about casting and the monologue challenge that we're doing here at the Theatre of Arts. We've got a very special guest here. Zora DeHorter is here. So she's going to be our special guest today talking about casting. She's had a very illustrious career. She's been working for MGM, CBS. She's made many movies and TV shows. She's also a coach for people who want to audition, so actors or people wanting to get into theatre school. This is a lady you turn to and she will get you there. Hello, Zora. Are you there?
Hello.
Hello.
David.
Hello, I can't see you.
Oh, you can't?
I can't see you, but that's my fault because my Zoom's gone weird. But I'm trusting you're there because I can hear you and I know how great you look. So you're in my imagination. But
I can see you. I can see you. Thank you, Theatre of the Arts, for having me. Theatre of Arts.
Theatre of Arts, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you. You've been a really good friend of ours over the last few years. So, so thanks again for doing this. I should just remind everybody who's tuning in, what we're doing is we're going to be having a worldwide, anybody in the world can enter, and we'll show some of these later on, that we're actually doing a monologue challenge where you can shoot yourself for about a minute, just a minute and a half, and enter this into a competition. And Zora is going to take a look at them. I'm going to take a look at them at the Theatre of Arts. And we can give you advice and we can help you. And if you want to come to the theatre school, that's great. We will fast track your application. If you want advice about becoming an actor, then Zora is the person to talk to. So Zora, you have been, I mean, like me rather, well, I'm not Nigerian, obviously you were born in Nigeria, but you were actually from England.
Yes.
After that, you were brought up in England.
Brought up, yes.
Yeah, and you were an actor as well for a while, right?
I was. I mean, I originally came out here to Los Angeles. Again, I'm Nigerian, but I was raised in London. I went to all-girls boarding school from 7 years old to 18 years old.
Wow.
And while in boarding school, I was lucky enough to go to the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. And I loved it. Right away, I was just in love with acting. It felt amazing. So after I finished university, I went to university and I got regular degrees. I have English literature, political science, you know, because I was thinking about maybe being a journalist because my dad was a journalist. Anyway, I got the acting bug. And I thought if I'm going to be, you know, famous, which is what I thought I wanted, Hollywood is the place to come. Because obviously Hollywood is more known. This is, 20 years ago when Hollywood is known for TV and film. So I originally came out here to pursue acting. And after a few years, it just didn't go the way I wanted it to. I was doing more of other things than actual acting. And I thought, you know what? For me personally, everyone's journey is different. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to have a regular career, a regular job that I thought was going to be hopefully flourish a little bit more. Right. And I always loved the energy in casting offices. So I thought if I'm going to give up acting, I want to be around actors. And luckily I had saved some money and I was able to call casting offices for TV shows that I really loved. And I said, listen, I can come help you for free. And they're like, for free, come on down. So after working for a year, for free, I was an assistant, an associate. I got my first film after a year. My first film was with a German director called Percy Adlon, who did Baghdad Cafe. I did his next film, Hawaiian Gardens. Yeah, exactly. I did his next film and it was a really amazing experience, a generous director. To start out as casting director, he was the perfect director to have. He was generous, he was collaborative. So after that, I was like, oh my God, I need to keep doing this. I've been casting since. I've been lucky enough to do feature films, television, commercials, lots of different genres. I've been really, really lucky.
You were saying he was a great director to work with. Why is that? From a casting director's perspective, what's a great director to work with?
Like I said, he was collaborative. He was really collaborative. He would not make any decisions until I was completely involved. And he ran every decision past me before he made any moves. We were together completely discussing every actor. And I felt like it was a real collaboration. And he was really generous with the actors too. He was really, took his time, would always give them the space to warm up and get into the character. Some directors can be either on their phones, looking away, or they just don't know what to say to actors. Percy was a very generous man, very good to actors and very good to me. And like I said, for a first film, it was nice to have a director who was so collaborative, because I think that's what I wanted from the casting process, is to be with like minds who believe in the creative process, who believe in collaborating and not just having you be the little secretary and them just decide everything and you not being part of the decision making. I was completely involved in every decision.
And as a, should we call you a reformed actor, how does that affect you with the empathy towards actors when they're in the room?
Well, because I was an actor myself, I think I know, first of all, I know the language. I know how to speak to actors because obviously I've been to school, I went to Guildhall, I've also done Meisner, I've done improv. I was one of those people. I loved school. I was a good student. So even as an actor, I always studied. If I wasn't working in theater or actually doing something on set, I was in class. And I was doing a scene study class. I was doing a technique class. I was doing an improv class. So I was always busy. So as a casting director, when an actor is struggling or they need to, I will help them take their time, get to where they need to get to, so that way they can give the best possible audition possible. Because obviously, if an actor looks good, I look good.
Right.
So I'm always rooting. You know, actors always, oh, the casting is against us. No, we're rooting for you. We need you to do well. And maybe that's why sometimes we look stressed or we look not happy, because we feel like you're not doing the best work you need to do. And it makes us look bad because the director's going to look at us going, you chose this actor. Why did you pick this person? They're just not ready. They're not there. So when we fight for you, we need you to do well, because then we do well. And then everybody's working, we get rehired, you get hired, so everybody's good. So we need you to do well. So when an actor comes into the space, if I see their energy, I can tell them, okay, let's take a breath, take a deep breath, just take a moment, turn away, just think about your character. So I'm able to help them get through the process so they can give the best audition. So that's what my point of view is as a casting director, is I can hopefully help them to stay in the zone and just be the best they need to be so they can really nail the audition and hopefully get a call back and then hopefully book the job.
So before they've got in the room, you've already done your research then on that particular actor. Is this what you're saying? That you already want them to get the job?
Absolutely. The idea is, if I brought you into an audition, this is how I say it. When you get an audition, the job is pretty much yours. It's about you screwing it up. Yeah, because obviously you got the appointment, so there's there's obviously an investment in you in some way. So it's just about you not screwing it up.
So how does an unknown actor, get your eyeballs on them? How do you get to see these actors?
Well, I go through all the different sites. There's Breakdown Services, LA Casting, Actors Access. Those are the main sources. Obviously, I ask agents and managers if they have anybody new or fresh that I should meet. And then I go through pictures. And if I respond to your picture, then I may click on your slate or click on your reel. And if I respond to something, then I'll give you an appointment time and hope that when you walk into the room, you can dazzle me in the same way that I got excited about your picture and your reel.
Is there anything in particular that can excite you about a picture? Is there something you go, this is what I like in a
No, I like, well, first of all, I like just simple background, simple, close, almost like the frame we're in, all of us, the frame we're in right now, that's perfect for a headshot. Right. And just a soft smile that has a little sparkle. I want to see a little sparkle in your eyes, whether it's mischievous, whether it's joy, whatever it is. I want to see something that's tittillating. I'm not big on the whole, dramatic kind of serious. I like to see a soft smile, which shows me light and shows me you're available, you're charismatic. And if I can see that little spark in the picture, then I'll click on that and see your resume. And depending on what I'm casting, if it's, a TV show, like for example, if I'm doing like a sci-fi, which I've done before, I may look at your training first, or your theater experience, because obviously with a lot of sci-fi, there tends to be a lot of prosthetics involved. There's a lot of masking, a lot of makeup. So I need an actor that's able to convey to the last row. I'm mugging right now because I want to be able to see an actor that can do that stuff. Because when they put the prosthetics on, I want to see if they can still convey. If I'm doing a TV show, I'll look for someone who's done some TV experience. If I'm doing a feature film, again, I'll look at theater and training. So then I look at the resume, and if I'm liking what I see on the resume, then I'll click on the reel.
Right. That's fascinating. I mean, that's good for me to know as well, that you really take the training very seriously as a casting director, that you're looking at that.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're not actively working on set or on a play, please be in class. Please.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes people are like, oh, that costs too much money. I get it, but it's going to pay off in the end. It's going to pay off.
You're investing in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's investing in yourself. Don't forget, it's called show business. So the business side for you is getting yourself ready. So when the audition comes, you're completely in the game and you're completely really ready and you're so confident because you've got your craft down. Your craft you've been working on that non-stop.
So it seems like there's layers here, right? First thing, get your headshot so that Zora will go, oh yeah, I want to see this person, right? Yeah. And then you get through, and then it's the resume. Yeah. Now, at what point do you get to reels, or is that?
If I'm responding to the resume, if I'm like, oh, this resume is, it's got all the elements I like for whatever genre I'm looking for, then I'll look at the reel if I don't know you. So the reel is definitely the last step, and then I will bring you into audition.
Wow. So it's like filters, isn't it, that you've got to get through?
Yeah, there are filters. Absolutely. Yeah. That's why getting an audition is like, it's harder than winning the lottery because there's so many steps before you even get to the audition step. Before you even get to an audition, there's so many steps as a casting director we go through before we even decide to bring you in. And obviously relationships. If an agent calls me and go, listen, Zora, I know you've never met this client before, but you've liked my other clients. Trust me on this one. I'm going to go, okay, because it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
So if an agent or manager or an acting coach calls me and goes, Zora, oh my God, I've met the next whoever it is. I'll be like, oh my God, I want to meet them. Please bring them in. And that will pass through all the reel, that will pass through the resume because I trust these people because they've helped me out before. So it's all about relationships as well.
And you brought up something really interesting about trust and reputations, because I go through that where people go, can you recommend me for this? And I'm thinking, will you let me down? I mean, that's true, isn't it? I'm only going to recommend people if I think they're not going to let me down.
Absolutely. Same, like I said before, we need you to look good because obviously the director's looking to us as the casting directors to see how our taste in actors is really satisfying what he needs. Yeah. So I need you to really, that's why I say, don't let me down. Please do your best job, because the director's going to go, oh my God, did I make a smart choice by picking this casting director? Right. Is her taste, I don't know if her taste is really what I need because the actors she's bringing in not quite up to par. So of course we get fearful too. We need you to do well. Yeah. We fight for you. So that's why we, when you come in, please be memorized and please be ready to perform. Because sometimes they also will give you adjustments and see how well you can take direction. So please be ready to perform.
Do you like actors to be off book when they get into an audition? Yeah.
Be off book.
Definitive. Yeah.
Be off book, but always hold the sides. Always hold the sides. Because just like in real life, you're talking and then sometimes you'll just go blank. And there's nothing worse than an actor going, oh my God, I'm so sorry, my sides are in my car. Could you just give me a minute? Because then the momentum's gone. Just hold the sides. You may never glance down, but it's just have them just with you. And I always say to an actor, this is an actor that shows they're really in the moment. Every time the reader turns the page, you turn the page. So that way you're completely in sync. So that way, if you do go blank for whatever reason, you won't have to be turning 3-4 pages. You'll be ready where you need to be, and you can just quickly glance and come right back.
And what about actors improvising? Do you have an issue with that?
I don't personally, but that's on a case-by-case basis. That depends on if for TV, you probably can't improvise because a lot of times with TV shows, there's a certain rhythm that happens. So if you keep improvising, you're going to completely affect the rhythm of the show, and it could turn off the writer. With TV, the writer and the producer are pretty much the same people. So the writer's always in the room.
Right.
With film, it depends on the director and the writer if they care so much. Sometimes they can be, because I do independent films. I'm not doing studio films, so I'm not sure about the caliber of how they feel about studio films. But for my independent films, generally speaking, they're pretty okay with ad-libbing and improvising because they want to see you be in character. They want to see you emoting. Whereas with TV, it's pretty strict about being word for word because the rhythm is like poetry. The rhythm of the show is specific to what the words are dictating. So always ask, if it's okay to be off book, to improvise a little bit, or we'll tell you, listen, I may even put that in the breakdown description. Please memorize the writers in the room and the words have to be, I will probably say that on the description.
Oh, so you're very explicit about that.
I try to be as helpful to actors as possible, so that way they don't come in the room and offend anybody.
Right. And what about behavior and the casting suite? If we ever get back into casting suites again, is there anything that you've noticed there, the way people behave? And someone might knock it out of the park, and then there might be something that just gives them away as a human being.
What
Have you seen that? Well, I've seen that with people like, for instance, when I've auditioned people as a director, I've had people, I said, hey, I want to give you I remember this young actor read brilliantly, and I would have given him the role. But when I said, okay, I always give a redirect if I like someone, because I know that on the set, something's going to happen and I need to know that this person will be able to cope with it. I said, I thought that was great. I just want to try it one more time. And he said, it won't get any better than that. That's it. Wow. And I was like, and that was like, yeah. And I literally went, thank you very much for your time. And he probably left the room thinking I did a great job. And he left the room and we all turned around and I said, no chance.
I'm not hiring him. No.
No. And I was so gutted because I thought he was great. But I went, damn, he's so good. But I can't work with him.
You know something, that's a big turn off. That's a very good observation. That's a very good point, because one of the things I always say to actors, be ready to get an adjustment. And I see some people, when the director or even me will say, okay, can we try that again? You can see they're crestfallen. They're completely like, oh God, I did it wrong. No, guys, it's got nothing to do whether you did it wrong. We just need to see if you could take direction.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Actors, I mean, I hate to say it, you guys are amazing, but you are the facilitator. It's actually the director's medium. It's the director's medium. And I'm the casting director. So sometimes I would say, let's say you did the scene crying. I may say to you, you know what, this time, just laugh it off. And I don't want to hear you go, well, what's my motivation? Why would my character? No, I just want to see how quickly and how effortlessly and smoothly you can say, absolutely, just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Take a minute and then just do it again. And that's another reason you should be definitely off book, because then it'll give you that freedom to be really comfortable just doing a redirection. It's not a bad thing. Just remind yourself, you're in the room longer. You're in the room longer. So it's not a bad thing. We just want to see, that was great. What can you do with this situation now? So we want to switch it up sometimes just to see how quickly you can be adjustable. Because like you pointed out, sometimes you get to set and it's moving a lot quicker. So we have to see that an actor can just take a moment and just do another redirect with a different tone.
Yeah. Another thing that I tell actors, and I don't know if you do this, is I say, get away from the scene of the crime as soon as you can afterwards. Because what I do as a director, I will invite the person who's on the desk outside to come in at the end.
Yeah.
And I just so, because the hardest thing is when you've got 20 actors and I've got to choose one.
Yeah.
And I'm now at that point going, damn, I've got to look for some reasons to say no. And I actually asked the person who was on the desk, was anybody rude?
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, so I'm just so that, and I know that when I've been an actor, I deliberately park away from wherever the casting was. Like, I don't want to get into a fight in the car park and then and go, oh, there's the director.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have anything like that? Do you ever experience anything like that, or give any tips like that?
No, I don't really do that. Was anyone rude? I don't really do that. I mean, like I said, when as soon as you walk into the room, I can already get a sense of you. The way you walk into the room, the confidence level you have, the eye contact, whether you say hello politely. And by the way, obviously that's gonna be an assumption now, but I was never big on shaking hands.
Right.
Germs. I can't leave my desk, and I was always getting sick. And I was getting flus all the time. And casting director said, stop shaking hands, because you can't leave and you're shaking hands and you're touching yourself. So I don't like shaking hands. So actors, I mean, obviously I don't think that's going to be that's probably going to be gone anyway from now on, because of this whole, COVID thing. But don't, when you walk, I always say, this is my house. So wait for me to set the tone in my house. So when you walk in, don't go, hi, because then it's like, I'm not, then it becomes uncomfortable, because now I have to make an excuse not to shake hands. So when you walk into the space, wait for me to set the tone. I will say hello, you will say hello back. I will ask you if you're ready. Don't do any small talk like, oh my God, you won't believe the day I just had. I don't know. That is not okay. Don't bring your burden, leave it at the door, as they say. So just come in and be professional. Hello, I'll say hello back. Are you ready to start? Do you have any questions? No, let's do it. And then after you finish, if I say thank you, leave the room. Because that's another thing that's uncomfortable. There's sometimes actors don't know how to leave the room. If I say thank you and there's nothing else added after thank you, that means we're done. So please leave gracefully. Say thank you back and then say thank you back and then leave the room. Simple.
Okay, we're getting some questions coming in from the viewers. So let me just read some of these out. Someone's asking, what about animation voice work? Are there any tips for focusing on landing voice roles?
To be honest with you, I don't do voiceover. I'm not sure how that's different from, I do live on camera actors. I don't do voiceover. So I'm not sure how different that medium is. I'm sorry, I can't answer that.
Let's move on then. They're going to have to ask somebody who specializes in casting voices for that. When you go to an audition, is it a good idea to go in character?
That's a very good question. It depends. You know what? I'm going to say no. No. I think it's good to come in. I'll explain why. I think it's good to come in as yourself. And the reason I say that is because the first thing, if I'd never met you before, the first thing I want to make sure about you is that you're a likable person. What I mean by that is you're going to be agreeable, you're going to be a nice addition to the people on set. Because don't forget, you're going to be working on set with people that have been working together sometimes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes years. So these people are already a family, they've already got a close knit. So now I'm inviting you as an actor to come join this family. So we need to make sure there's no issues with you, that you're not disrespectful, you're not derogatory, you don't have any issues about temper, attitude. So the first thing I want to know when you walk into the room is that you're a likable, normal person. So if you walk in and go, hello, then I know, okay, great. Right away, I can get a sense of them. And then I say, when you're ready, then I can see that you're another reason too. So when I say, are you ready to start? And you say, yes. Then I can see that you're a person that can go from, hi, to suddenly, and then get into character. So that way I can see how easily you can transition from being you to then being into character. So those are the reasons why you should come in as yourself. Because I need to make sure that you're a likable, normal person. But the one exception I would say regarding that is if you are a foreigner, let's say, for example, I have a British actor and they're coming in to play an American role, or vice versa. Come in that accent.
That's a very good one.
With that accent. I have seen actors lose a job because they'll start and then they'll get into the character and then they'll drop out. So that after they leave, the director will go, I don't know if they can do that on set. Because they're worried that you had a special coach that helped you with that dialect for that specific scene, that you won't be able to do that for the rest of the shoot or the rest of the episodes you're going to be on. So come in with the accent. Do not reveal your accent. In fact, I just did a film. And this actress, she did great American. She did a great American. Hired her, booked her. As soon as she signed it, suddenly I realized she was Australian. Until then, I had no idea she was Australian.
I had that with an actor in New York. That when we wrapped the film at the wrap party,
Yeah.
he revealed he was from. I can't realize he was from Oklahoma, but I always thought he was from Brooklyn. But brilliant job, brilliant job.
That's the only difference I would say. So the accent thing, do the accent all the way through. Do not reveal your real accent until hopefully.
I'm glad you added that.
But when it comes to playing a character, try to do your best to be yourself, and then get into the character. Just say to the cast director, if she chatted or he chatted with you for a few minutes, after when they say to you, "Are you ready?" Just say, "Absolutely. Just give me a minute." And hopefully the cast director will be generous enough and say, "Absolutely, take the minute." Because they realized they were chatty with you and they didn't give you, now you need to get into the character. But that way I can see how well you can take that minute, get into the character. When you're done, get back out of the character.
Yeah. So basically, if you're playing a psychopath, don't turn up as a psychopath.
No, you know, I
don't do it.
Freaked out. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Later, there's some more questions coming in. This is an interesting question. What do you think about the idea that only gay actors should play gay actors, or only Korean actors can play Korean characters, not a Japanese or a Chinese actor? Should I only audition for roles that are my own identity? Over to you.
Well, no, obviously sexuality, that's a whole, anyone that's to be honest with you, that's not a good question, because with sexuality you should be able to play everything. That's a sexuality thing. That's not a big deal. But when it comes to a race, I think the people with a specific race should be playing that race. But generally when it comes to Asian, then I think it's going to be just generally Asians, technically speaking. I mean, obviously, most people could tell the difference between a Korean and a Japanese and a Chinese. So hopefully they're smart enough, you can see the difference. So if we need a Korean, we're gonna hire a Korean. Like I just did a film where it was they all had to be Native American. So they had to, but in this situation, they actually had to show their Native American card, otherwise I couldn't hire them. So when it's specifically, then of course as a cast director, you want to honor that and be respectful about that and hire the specific people for that culture. Like I did a film with African actors and I pretty much hired only African actors from Africa as opposed to African American.
Right.
So I mean, as casting director, we try to be truthful about that. Sexuality is different. I mean, hopefully we're all open enough to play all kinds of different sexual stuff. But when it comes to a race, a specific, ethnicity, then I think you should play that ethnicity and be truthful to that.
Okay, good answer. Okay, here's another one. What do you think separates your successful clients from the others? I presume like by clients means people who are auditioning from you. Is there a magic?
Well, just being well prepared, being really, really well prepared. And when I say well prepared, have your strong choices, your subtext, your substitutions, all those beats, have everything, just nailed, being memorized inside and out.
All right.
So you walk into the space confident, being prepared, knowing who you're coming to meet for. Luckily you're an actor now where you can go on Google and find out everything about everybody. Yeah. So find out who you're going to meet for. So you feel confident about the kind of genres they do. So when you walk in, you know what to expect from this kind of person. So that's what I mean by be prepared. Know your words inside and out, memorize, but also know the people you're coming to audition for. So that way you feel comfortable in the space. And get there early. So someone who's successful will get there early, suss out the room. So that way, parking can be a nightmare. I'm not sure which part of town you guys are all from, but in LA, New York, those can be a nightmare to find parking. So get there really early, get into the audition space, sign in, get a sense of how long each person is taking, then go find a quiet corner and just get into your space. That will also breed success.
Yeah. Well, you were saying from LA or New York, someone's just, James from Las Vegas is asking, do you think there's a cutoff age at which it's just insane to consider going into acting? Is there a big drop off in demand after a certain age? All right.
No, not at all. I think any age. I think there are people who decide to change careers. I think any, even your twilight years, when you're retiring age, that's probably a good time to be an actor too. Yeah. There's always grandpa roles. There's always great grandparent roles. There's always the veteran, the wise older person. There's always a need for the old wiser person. So there's never. Yeah. There's always the middle age. I mean, there's always every category of ages. There's always a need for that in every film or script, play, TV show, there's always middle-aged people, old people, young people, super young people, babies. So I don't think there's really a cutoff time.
And do you think that everybody should train if they should, if they're going to make this decision?
You're training and or you know, or doing theater or doing something, so you're feeling comfortable being in the moment to moment, because obviously that's what acting is about. And being comfortable around people and bright lights and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, great answer. So when you get a project, do you always know exactly what you're looking for, or do sometimes actors change your mind?
Yeah. Script is not so well written. There are some scripts that, you know, some of the characters are flat. Sorry, sorry guys. Some of you writers don't always write really, really great three-dimensional characters.
Wow.
And there are times like, oh my God, I don't really know what to do with this character. And that's why sometimes when you get to the lobby, you'll see all different races, all different shapes and sizes, because we're not quite sure what to do with this. We want to try different, this is a chance for us to explore and try different kinds of actors for this role. And then you're hoping an actor's going to walk in and just do something with the character. And that happens. That's the best feeling ever. When an actor walks in and they put so much into it, their choices are strong, their commitment, you're like, oh my God, I finally get this character. I get it. And now you're going to use that actor, what they did, to help other actors get that character now. Because this actor, now they made it clear what this character is all about. So that's why you have to commit to your choices. You have to have strong choices and really commit to them, and stop worrying about what you think we want to see, what you hope we want to see. Just do what you feel is best for this character, because sometimes we don't know what we're looking for, and we're hoping someone like you is going to now make this character three-dimensional and make it amazing.
Great answer. Right. Okay. Do past auditions affect your opinion? Oh, the question. We've got so many questions coming in that it jumped. Do past or auditions affect your opinion?
I'm going to bring them. Yes.
Right.
For a casting, you have to be completely have your A game, A+ game, because if you don't do well, I'm not going to be comfortable bringing you back.
Right.
Like I said before, we're just as afraid about our job as you are. If we don't have actors that are doing a great job, why would we want to bring them back? So when you come into audition, please make sure you are committing and doing everything you want, and don't be safe, don't be ordinary. Raise your stakes every time, because then you'll leave feeling great, and then I'll feel great about you and want to have you come in for other works that I'm doing.
That's interesting. Ray Seahorn is a friend of ours, and she said that she got Better Call Saul, which she's having a great success with, after 10 years of auditioning for the same casting director and not being cast.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. But we'll bring in actors that make us look good. So, like I said, we're afraid of our jobs too. Yeah. So if there's an actor that's really great at auditioning, we'll bring these people back in and again, because it's relationships. It's all about relationships.
Right. You'll get there in the end.
You have to do your commitment to the role, so that way we feel great about bringing you in, and we'll want to bring you in again and again and again, and we get excited for your career. We get excited for you.
That's excellent. As you're an advocate. Well, somebody from Miami, Sarah from Miami, she's asking, do you ever look at the social media accounts of actors that you're considering casting? And if so, have you ever ruled anyone out because of something you saw there?
Yes, I do look at social media for a few reasons. If, for example, I feel like I'm not sure if your headshot, that's another reason, please make sure your headshots are up to date. If I'm not sure about your headshot and your reel seems like it's a little old, I will look at social media just to see what you look like today, what you look like yesterday. And also, if you don't have a reel, I may see if you have any video footage on your Instagram or your TikTok, whatever it is, so I can find out how you walk and talk. So please, guys, on your IG pages, please put some video content on there too. Not just still photos, but actual video, so I can see how you walk and talk. Yes, so I look at it for two reasons. First of all, like I said, we need to make sure, one of the things I said earlier, is we need to make sure we're hiring likable people. So I go on social media to see what kind of platform you have. If you're fun, vivacious, nice, charismatic, and good to people. Or if you're one of those people who are combative, who swears too much, who's derogatory on social media, There's no way I want to have you around. No one's going to want to be around that.
Yeah.
So please be careful about what kind of content you put out there. Because as you see, guys, it's been happening the last few weeks. Actors have been fired from shows because of their social media. Even if it's from 2014, 2007, it comes back to haunt you. Yeah. So please be careful what you put out into the world, because you are a social person. I mean, you're a public person. That's what I meant to say. Right. You are now a public figure as an actor. So be careful what you put out to the world.
I agree with that. I had to talk to somebody because who I put up for a role, and the producer got back to me and said, "I'm not touching her. Have you seen her social media?"
Yeah.
And I had to say, "Ooh, she's great," and I didn't think that her social media reflected how she was as a person.
Yeah.
She was just putting things out there. Miguel asks, "What about dressing for auditions? Is it better to be totally casual or dress more professionally?" Or I would add to that, or dress appropriately for the role. I think that's what you'd say. Yeah.
What does it say? I mean, it's like going to look at cast. I'm going to auditions. It's like going to a job interview. How would you dress for a job interview? You wouldn't probably dress with your nice button shirt, smart trousers. So do the same etiquette when you come to an audition. I don't want to see you with a beaten up t-shirt unless the character calls for that. If I'm looking for a homeless guy, come in with a beaten t-shirt and beaten up jeans. I always say to an actor, always dress and suggest how the character would dress. But please you don't have to go out there and get a police outfit. You don't have to go out there and get a doctor's outfit. Just if you're playing a doctor role, just wear a buttoned white shirt. If you're playing a lawyer role or a judge role, wear a jacket with some smart trousers. And I'll tell you why. I did it when I was doing a TV show. I had to find a judge for the guest star, who's a judge. And I brought in an actor. This is pretty much his whole career has been playing judges, his whole career. So I thought, oh my God, this guy's gonna nail it. He's gonna be fantastic. He's gonna book the part, no doubt. This actor rides a motorcycle everywhere. So when he came in, he just came in on his motorcycle. So he was wearing a leather jacket. He was wearing leather chaps. He was wearing leather from head to toe. He did the audition, and I think he did a great job. But the producer could not see past the fact that he was wearing leather and thought, I don't really see him as a judge. And I had to show them his reel. I said, listen, this is all he's played. And they said, no, I don't want to hire him. I don't want to hire him. So from that point on, I always say to actors, please dress as best as you can. Try to always carry extra clothes in your car. That's your job as an actor. Always have extra clothes in the car, extra headshots in the car. So that way you can come to an audition and so as the character would be dressed. So always have a jacket in the car, a skirt in the car, smart trousers, sweatpants, because sometimes you're playing in a character that's, jogging or an athletic kind of person. So please try and have all these things on everybody has these kind of basic clothing, but always dress. Also, it helps you stay in the character, because don't forget, as an actor, it's not just about what you're saying. You're being judged from head to toe. Your whole persona is what you're being judged on. So dress like the character. Even when you come in, I always say when you get the callback, wear exactly the same clothes for your callback even, because everything about what you did was working.
Right. Great answer. I think the only reason I ever had a tie in Los Angeles was for auditions. I've never worn it any other time. I'm going to ask, keep the questions coming in, guys. We're going to have a look at a self-tape in a minute. But Brandon's out. Before we do that, we've got 2 more questions. Then I'd love us to look at the self-tapes that are coming in and see what you think of this. Brandon's asking, what is your biggest pet peeve in the audition room? Good question.
Well, first of all, not being prepared. Doing the whole head bobbing because they're trying to find where their lines are on the page. I try to be generous enough and give an actor at least 24, 48 hours, which in my opinion is plenty of time as an actor to memorize the lines. If you're not good at memorizing, then you need to practice your skills at memorizing. It's your job as an actor to memorize lines. That's your job. So you got to get better about it. So I don't like when people do not memorize and then reading into the page too much. Coming in and asking questions like, is there anything you want me to do that you haven't seen yet? Don't do that. Asking questions like, what's this character all about? Oh my gosh, you know, just basic questions like that immediately turn me off. I just feel like then you're not ready, you're not a professional. You should not be asking those questions. Just come in with strong choices and get the work done. And like I said, not being able to leave the room, not knowing how to leave the room.
Okay. All right, get out. All right, Anna asks, do you do any child casting? And are there any tips on how to get kids into the business?
Well, I do, of course I do children, because there's always, like I said, from, you know, babies onwards, there's always a need in scripts for, because a lot of these scripts you're doing, you know, are talking about families, right, you know, family units. So there's always, you know, kids, etc., etc. I love auditioning kids because a lot of, you know, they're much more free and they like to play than generally adults tend to. Well, I think, to be honest with you, I think it's actually easier to get kids in the business because agents and managers will swoop up a kid and not worry if they've gone to Guildhall School of Music and Drama. They've done them, you know, they won't worry about that. They just want kids because kids are, you know, so I wouldn't say worry about whether your kid can get in. It's just the thing to worry about is your child ready in the sense of, are they emotionally ready? Because a lot of, you know, you don't want a child that when you come to the audition, you try to take the kid to the audition room. They're like, no, mommy, I'm too scared. Come with me. You know, you want a kid that's mentally and emotionally ready to be in a space by themselves with the casting director and comfortable, you know, getting notes and being able to do the notes again without being distracted or looking around or trying to take things from my table or, you know, getting busy by other things. So make sure your child is emotionally ready to be in a space with a stranger and being able to take a direction. So, you know, work with them at home, see how well they can do that, because sometimes kids will walk into my space and they'll go, oh my God, your glasses, and they'll start playing with things. Like, no, put that down, put that down. I don't want to be the little nanny. I want to be someone who's already professional. Go, hi, says their name and can start the scene. I go, can you try it again? And they understand what I mean by try it again, and they can do it. So, you know, classes, make sure your kids are doing some fun class, you know, and so they can feel comfortable with knowing how to take direction, feeling comfortable talking with adults, and just, you know, just being mentally and emotionally ready.
Wonderful. Right, well, we're going to go and watch a self-tape. I just want to say to everybody who's watching, we're a theatre school, but we're a theatre school for adults. So from 18 onwards, 80 to 90, actually, there's no cut-off point. You can be as old as you want. If you get beyond that, that's brilliant. So if you want to look us up, toa.edu, and that will tell you all about the theatre school that we are. If you need training, we will be happy to help, and there'll be lots of information on there. So toa.edu. We're currently running a monologue challenge. Hollywood self-tape challenge. So hashtag on social media, hashtag Hollywood self-tape challenge. Why don't we bring up something? Hopefully Reese, who is running the whole show for us here, who people can't see, is going to bring up, and then we'll have a look at it and see what you think, Zora, and see if you've got any advice for this person who's sending in a self-tape, whether this is a good example of a self-tape or whether or what advice you would give as a casting director. So hopefully Reese is going to bring something up. We'll talk until he has done already. I'll shut up. Yeah, there we go. There's our first one. And that's exactly what we need. The hashtag Hollywood self-tape, TOA, actress, film, theatre, fantastic. It's a 1-minute monologue.
But you see, Paul, it's all okay. Last night it came so clear. I realized you just need a little more time. Eventually you'll come to accept the idea of being here. Paul, do you know about the early days of the Kimberley diamond mine? Do you know what they did to native workers who stole diamonds? Oh, don't worry. They didn't kill them. No, that would be like junking a Mercedes just because of a broken spring. No, if they got caught, they had to make sure they could go on working. But at the same time, they had to make sure they could never run away. The operation was called hobbling. But you see, Paul...
Great, there we go. I think I recognize that scene. Do you?
Yes, of course, Misery.
Yeah, it's Misery, isn't it?
Yeah.
I actually thought good casting, actually. Kathy Bates role.
Yeah, she did a great job picking that monologue. That's another thing. Always when you choose a monologue, make sure it's close to who your essence and your look and your style is. And she did a great job.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, you see how we have our cameras is horizontal.
Yeah.
That's how she should have shot it. She should have shot it horizontal.
Yeah.
She should have shot it this way as opposed to this way.
Right. And we've all got these now, haven't we?
Yeah.
We've all got, we can all do them.
Yeah, do it this way. Yeah. Just like you see us right now, our frame is horizontal.
Yeah. We're perfect, aren't we? We know what we're doing.
She did a good job. I mean, there was a little bit of feedback in the background or something, some kind of weird wind or something. So just be careful about the sound quality. But I love her. You see how her background was so simple, guys? Plain background. She nailed the background. She dressed the part, nailed that. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the only thing I would make sure she checks on is the sound quality, because I could hear some woo kind of feedback sounds in the background. And just maybe take her time a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay, great. Take your time. So, guys,
but the look of it, like I said, the only thing is just make sure it's horizontal, not vertical. But the background was great. I loved how simple she was and how she looked right towards the camera, off the camera like that. That was great.
That was terrific. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good choice. We've got a couple more. If you've got time, we can have a look at a couple more.
Okay.
I mean, let's have a look at Reese. If you line up Jennifer Castillo, while Reese is lining that one up, if you're just starting out and don't have a reel, what's the most important thing to have aside from a headshot? I mean, can you as a casting director use self-tapes?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. If you don't have a reel, if you haven't had a chance to do any actual production where you've been hired and they've cut it and there's music and all that kind of stuff, I'm okay with you. If you have I just need to see you walking and talking. So even if your reel is just you with a couple of monologues, some self tapes on your reel, I'm fine with that personally. I think a lot of cast directors are okay with that because we just want to see you walking and talking, see how your mouth moves, how your accent, your dialect, your tongue, everything, how it works together. We just want to see that. So if you don't have a reel with actual footage from a film or TV show you've done, even if you've done a play, a lot of people film the plays. Put a little section from the play that you were on your reel and put some monologues, put some self-tapes. I mean, right now, there's some downtime, obviously. This is a great time to try and put a reel together, just doing monologues in your own living room, on your phone, or doing self-tapes if you can get some, someone to help you with just sound, the other feeding you the lines somehow. There's a great time to still put a reel together in your living room by yourself, with just some fun monologues, drama, comedy, that really show a side of you without us having to say, tell us about you. We can see it through the monologue.
Mm-hmm. That's good. And how long do you think those should be, those self-tapes?
No longer than a minute. A reel doesn't need to be more than a minute and a half. That's plenty of time. To be honest with you, we're seeing so many of them. After about 45 seconds, I've seen enough, to be honest with you. That's why I always put the strongest stuff in the very beginning. But a reel doesn't have to be more than a minute and a half. 2 at the very most. More than that, it just becomes, just too much.
Okay, Reese is going to bring up the next tape. While he's doing that, I'll ask you, other than your regulars, how do you actively seek new talent?
Like I said, I put out Breakdown.
Yeah.
I put out Breakdown. I go through Breakdown services, LA Casting. Like I said, I reach out to agents and managers and say, who do you have that's new? I need new people. Acting teachers, acting schools.
Yeah.
I call you guys and say, guys, I really need some young, fresh people. Do you have anybody that's, that's up and coming that you can recommend? Right. That's why I love staying in touch with acting schools and stuff, because they do have the new, fresh people a lot of times.
Right, correct. Yeah, and we've got plenty. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, this is 2 minutes. We might
Hello, my name is
Jennifer.
I'm 22 and I'm currently looking for representation. My mother said to me the other day, she was like, Ashley, if you don't start doing exercise, then you could end up becoming fat thin. And I said, Jesus, Mary and Joseph and all of his Carter friends, what is fat thin? Oh, Ashley, I read it in a women's magazine. A women's magazine, the only target for women's magazine are other women's. Fat thin is when you're thin, but you're secretly fat because you don't do any exercise. You can also be thin fat, fat, too thin, too fat, thin in the wrong place, thin in the right place, fat in the wrong place, fat in the right place, but no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you are definitely wrong. And I said, Mother, as if I don't have enough problems in my life trying to walk down the street at night and not get raped, trying to live in a society where 25-year-old women are sticking plastic and poison in their faces, so by the time they get to the 40s and 50s, they have nothing else to do to themselves than to pull out their eyeballs and insert baby eyeballs in instead. We live in a world where we have developed telephones without plugs that can send the picture of a cat from one side of the world to the other side of the world in under a second, and they are still trying to come up with faster phones. Yet still, after 200,000 years of humanity, we have not come up with a better way to have a baby child than to push something the size of a bowling ball out my tiny hole, and now have to worry about being fasting. I said, go shoot up your flute, Mother. I didn't actually tell my mother to go on sugar up her flute. I agreed to go to a Zumba class.
Oh, adorable.
Thank you very much for watching.
Oh, bless her. All right.
Oh,
Well,
she's adorable. She's adorable. She did every technical. See how she did it horizontal?
Yeah.
The background, the lighting, the sound quality. I actually had to lower my sound volume, because hers was so full and so the sound quality was amazing. She did great. I mean, obviously, with someone like that has a really thick accent, the only thing I would say to her is slow down a little bit.
Slow down, yeah.
But she did a great job. And also with her slate, guys, slating is so important. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what her name was. She said it so quickly. I have no idea what her name was. So always make sure you say, hello, I'm Zora DeHorter. Remember, you have a first and last name. Take a breath between the first and last name, especially if you have a foreign. If you're not Jane Smith, that's easy to remember. If you have a name that's a little different, with most of us do, because we're now of the world, and people are more comfortable keeping their original name and not changing it to something that's more PG. I'm loving that, by the way. Don't feel like you have to change your name. Just make people get more comfortable saying it. In order for that to happen, you've got to say your name slowly, and punch the lines and say the words out clearer. So she's rushed through her name. I have no idea who she is. So that's first of all would turn me off, because then I would have to rewind and try to work out what her name is. So please make sure you say your name slowly, clearly, take a break, pause, and then start the scene. Yeah. But everything else, she did great. Her attitude was great. Her, emphasis, her, committed. It was great. I think she was so charming. And do you notice how she put her monologue on her on her Instagram page? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant. So now everybody can see it. It's available to the world. Because like I said, she's a public figure. And by the way, another thing, guys, too, if I'm trying to find your page, please don't make it private. You're an actor. Make your page public. But I love that she put her monologue on her Instagram page. That was a really smart, clever thing to do. Yeah, and always do a hashtag Hollywood self-tape, and then we'll take a look at it. Oh, here's a good. By the way, I love the way you said your name now. I thought you were going to read the BBC News. Hello, Zora DeHorter. And in the news today. Exactly. I like that. Would you ever represent someone who's back? Well, not that you represent people. This is the question, and we can reword it. Would you ever represent someone whose background is mostly adult films? Ooh, I wonder what he means by that. Ooh. Is it an issue? Is it an issue if someone's got a background? Should they hide it, or should they maybe not put it top of the resume, right? Yeah, that's a tricky one. Yeah, it can be, to be honest with you, there's kind of there is a judgment to that. It's the whole thing about finding out, depending on what the genre is. I mean, if I'm doing a family-friendly project, I'm not going to be inclined to hire someone that's got some adult film experience, to be honest with you. Right. But if it's a fun action film and they want to have some sexy, so it's not just the just the typical guys looking at it, but I don't know. It depends. I mean, it depends on the genre and depends what's needed. It could be actually fun to have someone that's got some X-rated films on their resume, depending on what they're going for. It could be like part of the funny genre that we're trying to do, that we have that. You know what I mean? So it's on a case-by-case basis.
Right.
But nowadays it's hard to hide that stuff because we could find things very easily.
Right. Right. I was gonna. Do you hide it, or do you just, like?
Well, obviously, you don't put on your resume. Obviously, you don't put on your resume. You don't need to put on your resume. Just like you don't put extra work on your resume.
Right.
And just, you don't need to share about it. If people ask you what you've been doing, just say I've been, doing some small little indie. I don't know. Just be vague about it, maybe. So that way, it depends on what we're looking for.
Okay. Well, we've got a couple of minutes left, so questions are coming in. I'll try and get through as many as I can, but I think we've just got a couple of minutes left. Is it okay for me to reach out to you without an agent? How can I stand out from the crowd if I emailed you?
Well, only email if you know I'm actually casting something. I don't want to get general emails because I will block you. Because otherwise I get hundreds a day and it's overwhelming. I mean, I need to have a life as well. So only let me know if you have something pertinent to share with me. Whether you're doing a play in LA that I can come to, whether you are now with an agent or manager, or whether you really think that this role, you are the character, and then obviously include your reel or any information that I can find you, so I can decide if I really think you're the person for the role. I actually don't mind if you don't have representation. I just want to make sure that you're actually right for the role. A lot of times I need to make sure you're in the union, depending on what I'm working on. So if you have those criteria, I don't care if you don't have an agent, if you have an agent, if you find out about the role, just make sure you sell yourself and explain to me why you're perfect for that. Show me the evidence of that, whether you've actually done a self-tape with the character already, or whether you have something on your reel that's like this character, then I will, obviously consider that.
Great. Okay, cool. Well, let's go for the last couple of questions. I know they're coming in fast and furious. I'll try and get through them, but I think we should probably cut it off there so we can all, well, we've got so many places to be right now, haven't we? Headshots, are they still in use, or is everything digital only by submission?
Well, both. You have to have a headshot. You have to have a hard copy of your headshot. Because if you come in for audition for me, there are some directors, there are still directors and producers who want to gather the headshots. And then what we'll do is we'll line them up, and then almost like, you're doing a portrait, you decide of all the actors from these headshots, who goes well together. And there's like a mix and match situation. So if we have the real hard copy of the headshot, please always still have hard copies of your headshots, because they are still being used by, like I said, we'll put them on the ground and decide which people are going to match well together based on the visual of them. And then we'll go through the resume again together, looking at these headshots and resumes at the person. When I'm auditioning, when I'm trying to find actors, obviously I'm doing through digital, I'm doing through online. So, I'm looking through small little pixels of pictures. But in person, still always have a hard copy of your headshot, please.
Great. Okay. And then I think this will be the final question. I have a large birthmark on my face. Should I cover it for auditions?
I don't know. I'm one of those cast directors who actually likes imperfections. I like things that are uniquely you. And obviously I know that you can cover it up. Obviously we know that makeup, people with tattoos. As you know, there's a lot of actors that have tattoos, body tattoos, whatever it is. And you would never know in the film because it's completely covered. So I don't know, so it's a fine line. I would say come in with it. But obviously, if I need to tell you to put some makeup for the callback, just in case, then you'll be ready for that. Maybe bring your makeup with you, because obviously, if you are concerned about it, you've obviously had the experience where you've had to cover it up. So maybe just have the makeup handy. But I'm one of those people who believes in imperfections. If you have acne, spots, freckles, don't cover it up. I actually probably want to bring you in because of those imperfections. So try not to cover things up too much. And like I said, when you get to set, when you get hired, if they need to, they can get all the perfect makeup artists that will make you look however they need you to make you look.
Zora, we're going to have to wrap it up. I just want to say, thank you so much for sharing your experience. You've just been wonderful. And I love that you're a real friend to actors. You've been a real friend to the Theatre of Arts. I really appreciate you. And I'm sure that everybody who's been watching really appreciates that You've been sharing your expertise with us today. I just want to remind everybody, if you want to know more about the Theatre of Arts, go on to toa.edu. If you want to send in the self-tape, like Zora said, put it on your social media. We'll take a look at it. If you hashtag Hollywood Self-Tape Challenge, we'll take a look at it. All right. But Zora, I just want to say, and for everybody watching, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
And also make sure you have fun with your when you do your submissions to Hollywood. What is it called? Hollywood what?
Hollywood Self-Tape Challenge.
Hollywood Self-Tape. Just have fun. And the good thing about self-tapes is you can watch it, and if it doesn't look right, redo it. Yeah. But have fun, and I'm really looking forward to looking at I love self-tapes, because obviously we have time now to watch more of them. So have fun. Submit a self-tape. Go on then.
Go on in. Let's have some fun. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. And thank you, Zora, for joining us tonight.
Bye. Good luck, everybody. Bye.
Take care. Bye.